get a job in tech. Thanks everybody for listening to this podcast. Okay, so in this episode, right, I want to talk about you want to be a programmer, and maybe you work in. You're not a programmer, actually. Whatever field it is you work in, maybe you work at Walmart, McDonald's, whatever, right? And you're not a programmer, right? So you don't have a lot of money, right? Let's say, and you just want to kind of get your feet wet a little bit into programming, and you're looking for some resources. So I'm going to give you a couple of resources. Matter of fact, they're YouTube channel, really, right? So obviously, so I'm trying to myself learn C++ myself, and I'm trying to learn because I tried Java, and it's okay. I just couldn't get the concept right. So then I'm learning C++, and what I do is I learn it and then I go back over. And the course I'm taking is on Udemy, so I backtrack. So I'll go maybe 3 or 4 modules in, then I'll go back because I just want it to stick to my brain, right? Anyway, so a couple YouTube channels, right, for learning programming, right? I'll give you a couple actually. So there's a pretty good one. It's called freecodecamp.org. That's a good one. So Free Code Camp is basically for how to code from scratch. So if you're looking to learn C++ or Java or JavaScript, some of the APIs, Python, data structures, you can go there. The other one is Treehouse. Excuse me. So Treehouse is kind of the same thing, right? They do programming as well. So they do C++, and they're kind of like it's a long-term thing with them. So Treehouse is like, you've probably seen commercials online where it has Treehouse, and somebody said they used to be working in a non-technical field, and they went and learned Treehouse, and now they have a coding job, maybe web designer, front end, back end programmer, something like that. Yeah. The other one. So the next one I want to talk about is it's actually a gentleman, right? His name is Derek Banas, and so the first two were like companies, basically. So it's freecodecamp.org, and which is smart on the website, putting the website on the YouTube channel, and then Treehouse, and then finally, the third one, excuse me, is Derek Banas. So his channel is DEREKBANAS, and he teaches on his channel. He teaches like Python, JavaScript, PHP. It's a one-stop shop, really, right? I think he puts a lot of work into doing it, right? The next one is The New Boston. You probably have heard about this before. All of these are watched, right, videos just to grasp the idea. But The New Boston, the cool part about him is he'll have segments. So he'll teach you programming Android apps. He'll teach you Angular, teaches you JavaScript, he teaches you a lot of stuff, really. Python, of course, C++, right? So he does it in segments. So it'll be like 5-minute segments. So, what is it? Section 1, Section 2, just to not overwhelm you with like a 5-hour video, basically, right? Anyway, that YouTube channel is called The New Boston. So TheNewBoston, The New Boston. The other one is just called Dev Tips, so development tips, right? And it's like tips and tricks, really, right? I think it's more for programmers that are more established, right? So they can become a better developer, right? And it focuses more on the software side. So we're talking about maybe you have like web development, right? And then you have like maybe software engineering or software development. So web development could be like something like you take PHP, or you take Python and you make something, or you just maybe, entry level program, something like that. Software engineer is like a whole kit and caboodle. This is talking about, I guess it's like almost like a full stack developer, if you know what that means. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. You can Google it. At any rate, so basically you have the front end. So you have like how the website works or how the program works, right? And then you have the back end. What type of database structure does it use? How does it interact with other, with the APIs, other programs? That's a software developer is what that is. So the channel is called DevTips, DevTips. The other one is learncode.academy. This is another one where they have like a URL in their channel name. And so the Learn Code Academy is entry level, right? So they talk about JavaScript. They do a lot of the web development for beginners. So also the stuff like, what do you need to know as a programmer? Entry level stuff. How do you learn this stuff? What do you need to know in as a programmer, as a web developer, basically, right? What do you have to know, right? The other one is called Traversity Media, and I've actually never been to that one, right? I know about it, but I've never been to it. I really haven't really gone anything into it, but but anyway, it's called Traversy Media, TRAVERSY Media, MEDIA. And the other cool one, right, or the next one, is called Programming Knowledge. It's codebind.com. So it's the same thing as like the other ones, except it's like entry level. So you learn Java, you can learn Python, C++, and they make it easy to follow. Again, I've watched a lot of these because I want to just kind of understand and learn from it. The other one is this guy named Mosh, right? So Programming with Mosh is his channel, and he gives you like the basics. The cool thing about this one is it teaches you JavaScript in an hour. Obviously, I don't really understand JavaScript yet, so that one is obviously that's over my head right now. The next one is called Design Course, DESIGNCOURSE. And Design Course, it's almost like he's teaching you, his name is Gary, right? By the way, so it's kind of nice. It's one individual, but he teaches you how to make graphics. Graphics involved in programming, right? So he does both the front end, which is like how the website looks, right, and then the back end, which is the SQL, the database, the what do you call it, the framework, if you will. He teaches you all that information. So, and finally, the other one is Level Up Tuts, LEVELUPTUTS. So this one, of course, like them all, right? This one kind of focuses more on like the HTML portion. So whereas the other ones are like JavaScript and Python, this one takes you back a step and says, hey, let's just go with the entry level, right? So we're going to talk about HTML and CSS. So let's just focus on those, right? So it's very, very they take you way back in the very basic. So again, I'm trying to learn JavaScript. Well, more so C++ because JavaScript's a little confusing to me, but so then in the hopes that I can one day make a program myself and just like sit back and say, oh, that's so cool, right? That's the whole goal here for me, is to do that so I can just kind of, oh, that's really cool. So yeah, that's the idea for me learning programming. And it's really just another skill set to have to fall back on. In this time, if you have a skill set you can fall back on, that's perfect, right? You've probably seen individuals who work at Walmart or work at McDonald's, and you just know them and say, wow, they have really good potential. There's something about them, but for whatever reason, they're not in the IT industry. We don't know what that is. No idea, right? Maybe it's somebody's in their ear discouraging them, or maybe they don't have the idea about it, or they just haven't heard enough information about it, or there's nothing that sparks their interest, right? And if you have a friend, a relative, a neighbor, whoever that they want to get into programming, but they're not really sure how to start, well, those YouTube channels I mentioned are a good starting point. So thank you for listening to this podcast.